So today I've got an extra video for you guys on a Sunday, and today we're going to talk about DraftKings because there was two big news stories that came out with DraftKings during the week, and I was going to get it done during the week, but it was a bit of a busy week overall, so I never got round to it, and it tied quite nicely because they both kind of came out, and yeah, really interesting stuff. So I thought I'd cover them both because they are interesting things that are going on in the background with DraftKings at the moment. So hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get started. So overall, DraftKings stock has been on fire recently, up 170% in the last year, and year to date as well, up 40% in the last year to date as well, when we're only 3 months into the year at the moment. So yeah, when it's your biggest holding and the stock's doing this amazing, obviously your portfolio's doing amazing. So yeah, really good to see DraftKings absolutely firing on all cylinders at the moment. And it's a total different place to where it was only really a year ago. A year ago, there was just so much negativity around DraftKings, and now we're back up at $47. And you know, a year ago we were nearly close to $10, which is absolutely crazy to say. And you know, when you look at Seeking Alpha, I was just looking at Seeking Alpha only a few minutes ago, and the amount of positive articles that you see on DraftKings now, you know, rated a buy, strong buy. We got a hold there, and that was from January, another buy. So much difference from where we were only a year ago, because a year ago, if I just go on the actual ratings and, you know, click the hold and sell ratings, and you'd see here, we've got a couple of recent ones here, but you know, there was a lot more negativity around there, and you know, you start going further down, you start getting the sells starting to come in during 2022, and a lot more harder to find positivity around there. And I've only just taken a couple of screenshots from the many comments I could pick, but you had one here from example from London MF, who I was making a video saying how good these earnings were, saying I was deluded for giving them 9.5 out of 10. And he was saying about the losses and the stock-based compensation, not realising the scale of profitability that's about to come. And you had another one here saying that, once again, about the profitability going down to $1. There was plenty of comments I could have chose from here. Same again, zero profits. DraftKings shorting it at $10, which is absolutely insane. Same again, saying I'm saying they're crushing earnings, but they're not, and not understanding the scale of the profitability that's about to come from them, calling it a hype stock, as you can see here. Someone here, Tim, that said it's just a bookie, not understanding the conviction and why it's my largest stock, and saying that Kathy Woods should not have it in her fund, she should have Beyond Meats instead in her fund. And there's just so much negativity out there in the comment section. It was hard to find anyone that was positive on it. So the first one I'm going to talk about is around the profitability, actually. So DraftKings and Jason Robbins actually went on to do the Morgan Stanley Technology Media Conference on the 7th of March. It was actually a Discord member that actually shared this with me. And by the way, if you want to see some exclusive videos this week on Patreon, I'm dropping probably 2 free exclusive videos this week on Patreon, £5 a month, join the link in the description. And Jason Robbins went on to talk about that. And he actually mentioned, once again, the first time we've heard about it for probably about 6 months is share buybacks. And he mentioned that, you know, we're going to have that good of a balance sheet and we're going to make that much profitability now. You know, what do we do with the capital allocation? And once again, he mentioned share buybacks. We've not heard this mentioned for about 6 months now, and he mentioned it once again. I think DraftKings are going to announce a share buyback in around about 9 months' time, which is very impressive. You know, once again, to see this company doing a share buyback would be impressive to see. So I'm letting you guys know now, just like how I let you know, multiple times historically on DraftKings what's going to be the next step for them. I'm going to let you know right now. I think DraftKings are actually going to do share buybacks in about 9 months' time, which will be really good, because what will happen in 12 months' time is the company's still going to grow rapidly. They're going to make a lot of profitability, and also the combination of share buybacks is going to be absolutely amazing for this business. And if you look at the business at the moment, the revenue is still growing absolutely enormous, and the profitability is on its way. The losses are cutting down. All these people that were saying, they're never going to make profitability, they don't make profitability. Those were the people that never looked into the stock and understood what was happening with the states. They didn't understand there was the marketing launch because there was so many states come online. When you actually look at where the states are going to be in 2-3 years time and the profitability they're going to throw off, when you looked at New Jersey, they didn't understand the business model. Maybe not that they didn't understand it, I just think they were lazy. And they were commenting on things that they didn't know and didn't do the research. And if you did the research, you'd have gone, wow, this is going to be throwing off amazing growth when you look at New Jersey still in a few years' time, which we are seeing, and they're also going to be throwing off amazing profitability. Now, granted, they're not actually to the levels of profitability just yet, but they are going to be there anytime soon. And as we know, with stocks, you need to be future thinking. And this year, they did really cut down the losses on the free cash flow and the profitability. But the next 12 months is going to be the key thing, because we aren't going to hit profitability just yet, but what we're going to have is free cash flow. And they're going to do about free cash flow of 380 million, which is still a decent amount. And then I think what will happen in 2025 is, because then in 2025, we will see the numbers start really creeping in on the profitability. You can see a forecaster for them to throw off nearly 380 million in profitability. And on a free cash flow point of view, it's going to be towards 900 million in free cash flow, which when you look at a 22 billion market cap, that's actually not too bad of a valuation when you look at that and you think realistically we're only a year and 8 months off that point of view. That's actually still not a pretty bad valuation, and that's going to be a massive improvement. And because once again, when you're throwing off that amount of free cash flow, DraftKings is going to have options. It's going to have the options of, maybe you go to the share buyback, like we said. Obviously, they could have the option of an acquisition as well, which they are starting to do. So that's why I think they made that acquisition, and I don't think we'll see a share buyback until probably around about 12 months' time. I think when we get to the end of 2024, in 2025, and we see these numbers, I think that's when they'll start forecasting the share buyback. I mean, if you even go just 2 years down the line now, we're going to be getting towards nearly 1 billion in profitability, which isn't a bad valuation, or when you think about this company still going to be growing towards 30%. And the thing as well with DraftKings is that they've got a cracking balance sheet as well. They did take some debt on in 2021, but that stayed around about 1.2 billion. But when you look at the cash and equivalents, they're sitting around about 1 billion in cash now. In fact, the cash pile's going up. It's actually towards 1.3 billion. So if they wanted to, they could pay this debt off overnight. And obviously, with the cash it's going to generate, they can even pay that debt down. But when you're sitting on 1.3 billion of cash, and the cash is going up now because they're generating free cash flow, which people said they never would do. Once again, it's giving them the options that they can go do things, and that's what we've seen this year. We've seen them do the merger and acquisition, and I think next year we'll actually see them do the share buyback, because they're generating so good cash flow now. They have actually gone and made an acquisition, as we saw in the last earnings, which I covered, which is they went and bought Jackpot. They said that Jackpot will drive up to 60 million to 100 million of adjusted EBITDA in financial 2026, which is one of the reasons, once again, why probably the profitability is ramping up and giving those options for them to go buy things. And also, if you actually go back, which was my first point, is if you actually go to the Morgan Stanley conference they actually gave a few more details on that acquisition, saying we actually saw that our highest spending customers use Jackpot, so we can actually cross-sell and the synergies they're going to get from them. So yeah, it looks, when you start looking at that acquisition made, that could be a really good acquisition, and the states they're going to get access to as well. Looks like it's going to be a really good driver for them in the next kind of few years. But getting to the point is that also there's been a big move in the management team. Jason Parks, the old CFO, has actually become the transformation officer of the Jackpot acquisition. So that's quite serious, because Jason Parks is a really good CFO. He gives a lot of really good information out on the DraftKings conference calls. So it was a little bit gutting to see him move away from the CFO. But I looked at this from a point of view, like, I do like him being the CFO, but if they're actually putting him in charge of the acquisition of Jackpot, it kind of says how serious they're taking this, because obviously that's Jason Robbins' right-hand man. That Jason Parks has always been his right-hand man. So the fact that he's gone, you know what, we're going to put you in charge here, it kind of shows you how serious they're taking this, and also how serious they think that the numbers can really improve DraftKings. So that was a crazy change, a really big change that's happened in the management team. That did also mean that they have put Alan Ellingenson, I think is how I say, into the CFO role for Jason Parks. I probably would expect that when probably in 2026. I wonder if they probably potentially swap roles with each other, or Jason Parks comes back in the CFO, because someone that knows the company in and out that much, I wonder when the acquisitions kind of settle down a bit more, whether or not it would make sense to then put Jason Parks back in the role of in the CFO role, or maybe then they may look at another acquisition and then maybe put him in charge of that. So yeah, that was a big management team swap that was happening inside the business, and also some really good information that was given out on the Morgan Stanley call about share buybacks. I do think we will see DraftKings in the next 12 months, when we get to the start of 2025. I do think we'll see DraftKings actually announce a share buyback, and obviously they are going to be able to do that, because when during that financial year, when they're throwing off 380 million profitability, and from a free cash flow point of view, and they're going to throw off 890 million free cash flow, that's going to give them a lot of options what they do with that capital allocation now, because they are starting to throw them big amounts of profitability that people said they would never be able to do. It's there, and it only comes 2 years after people said it would never happen. So yeah, it's really good to see, and it's no surprise. I'd like to say it's a shock, but if anyone that was actually able to do a bit of research or looked into the information that was out there, it was obvious this was going to happen. So the people that are missing out are the ones that clearly are a bit lazy doing the research, and anyone that's getting the rewards is those people that do research and actually dig into the financials rather than looking at the stock price and going, yeah, that's a good stock, or oh, it's up, so it must be a good stock, or it's down, so that's a bad stock. The people getting the rewards from this now are the people that have actually done the research, and obviously, anyone that's buying in that dip is a good opportunity. I'm starting to see the people now that are saying, oh, can I buy DraftKings at $48 or $47? And it's like, wow, I can't answer them questions, because I was buying it at $10, and I remember the comment section when buying $10, people saying, no, don't buy it at $10, it's going to $5, it's going to $1. So, it's hard for me to say, like, is it a buy right now? Because, I was buying through that time frame. But it's crazy, isn't it, when you look at, this week people were willing to pay, $47.95. Actually, the 52K was nearly $48.90, nearly $49. People were willing to pay nearly $49 for this stock when only a year ago, we were picking up for $10 and we were getting a lot of stick for it, which is crazy. But yeah, two big news there going on with DraftKings anyway that I want to share with you guys. I think, like I said, I've always tried to give you what's going to happen next for DraftKings in the next 12 months. Just like how I told you the profitability is going to scale massively, just how I told you they're going to move to profitability. So the revenue is going to still carry on growing absolutely huge, and analysts are missing it. I told you that the profitability is going to ramp up, and now analysts are starting to forecast it a lot more. They were saying DraftKings won't make profitability in the next 3 years, and I was like, yeah, don't count them out, it's coming. And so I'm telling you the next steps for DraftKings now, and I think that share buyback is going to come in the next 12 months. And also management change there, that's a really big change. I was really surprised to see Jason Parks come leave the CFO role, but yeah, shows you how serious they're taking this acquisition that they're making of Jackpocket. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. See you in a bit.